Hey everybody, I had some time on my hands and I've been thinking how cool it is to be a performer. And I've seen some amazing things. And so, as I was reminiscing, we all have a lot of time on our hands these days. I was thinking about the five most amazing performances I've seen in my career as a performer. As a performer, wherever they are, happened around the world. The five most amazing things I've ever seen. Now, I came up with a list, but they're not necessarily, well, the top one is the top one, but the rest could be all interchangeable. They're just incredible. Game recognizes game, and when you know what it takes to make the sausage, when you know how that happens, and what it takes out of you, and what you sacrifice, and what it means when you've connected with an audience, you can really appreciate when you see somebody else do it masterfully. So I have these times that I wanted to share with you. So number five, in no particular order except for the number one, is the number one. Number five, Mr. Luther Vandross. Now, in 1999, Take Six, we were all, we've been out since '88. So by this time, we were involved at the Image Awards, and we were on stage, getting to perform for stuff for people. You weren't in the audience, but you were singing. One of those times, we were in the back, and Mr. Luther Vandross came out to do his song. And I think he did House Is Not a Home. And to see this genius, this musical monster, monster genius, do his thing from the performer's perspective. In the wings, we're like, hello, 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 all six of us looking at this guy. Luther was killing folk. He was killing folk. Not just women. He was killing folk. And it was like, wow, this dude is on another level. He had the whole audience in his hands. Just to see somebody at the top of their game. Oh, man. That was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just to see. I would love to be him for 3 seconds. I didn't even have to sing a note. I'd just be between his phrases. Just standing there, just soaking that up like, yeah, I'm about to sing this next part. Y'all ready? You ain't ready. I'm about to sing this next verse, but you ain't even ready. I'd be that guy. Quit singing. Quit talking. Sing some more. I'd be that guy. You had to yell at me. All right, so the next one that I have on my list was a few years later. So we lost that giant, Luther, July 1st, 2005. And his long-time producer was Mr. Marcus Miller. And I'm a huge Marcus Miller fan. He doesn't know, but he's one of my mentors as a bass player. Bass player to bass singer. So we were in Japan with this jazz review. Marcus had his ensemble. He had Hiram and Kenny Garrett, just all of these bad cats. But they did this performance, and I think it was, if only for one night, as a tribute to Luther, we had just lost him. So it was probably like the month or two after this. And Marcus got up there, and his band, they were playing, ba, 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 ba. But you see that face? It was so dark and funky and wonderful and delicious and brooding and sexy and emotional. It was, and he was giving a tribute to his brother, so he's playing his heart out. He's just, he's missing his man in it. Oh my gosh, it was just so amazing, so amazing. It was one of those nights. He's like, yeah, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do music. That's why God put me on this earth, to hear it and to give it. That was incredible. Number three. Okay, so in '88, we, had burst onto the scene, and we were actually one of those opening years. We were opening for the Winans. We had done a lot of tours with BeBe and CC, but for whatever reason, we got moved up to that level. The Winans were the kings of gospel back in those days, and we were opening for them. Well, Ronald had taken ill. He was having some health issues. So they didn't announce anything. They just came on stage, the three of them, but you heard 4 parts. Well, in the wings, they had flown in BeBe. BeBe was dressed up like them. He was in the wings doing his thing, singing Ronald's part. So they sang the first, song, and then they announced, our oldest brother took ill, but we brought the stage. We want to bring the stage our youngest brother. You may have heard of him, Mr. BeBe Winans. He comes out and he does Uphold Me, Ronald's tune, and slays it dead. Now, you got to remember, we've been singing them, it was touring with BeBe and Cece, and they're singing, Celebrate New Life on the Milky Way. All that contemporary Christian stuff. So to see BeBe reach back to his Detroit roots and all of that shouting and skipping on stage and throwing down, we were like, who is this? We don't even know who you are. Incredible. Incredible. I wish that was on film somewhere. You had to be there live. It was absolutely amazing. I had a whole nother respect for BeBe. Sung with them dozens of times, and it never disappointed. But this was, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. That was incredible. All right, number 4. Okay, so when I got to LA, I've been out with Take 6, but I started to do my own thing, started doing a lot of sessions. And I got a call in as a LA Pro Session singer to do this gig with Michael Jackson, or for Michael Jackson. Didn't know what it was for, didn't know, what it was about, but you never say no. Sure, absolutely, I'm there. Turns out Michael was doing a tribute for Elizabeth Taylor. She was having a birthday. It was her 65th birthday. And they brought in, made a choir out of a bunch of us, and we did a couple of songs in a pre-record, and then they actually wanted us to perform live. Well, we were there one day, the day before the recording, and all the camera blocking and all the sound checks and all of that. It was all day. One of those, in the middle of the afternoon, I think there was doing craft services or something, I'm hearing Michael Jackson's voice coming from the theater. And I'm walking by and I'm like, peek my head in, Michael's on stage. It was probably, I think it was like the Orpheum or some little theater downtown LA, right on Sunset. And probably held 1,500 people. There was like 12 people in the audience. And I looked around, I'm like, I sat down, Michael's on stage. And this was during with the big fan in the middle of the stage and the big stadium light just on him. He is singing this sound check. I have never. Forget all of these performances. His sound check. Michael Jackson's sound check was the baddest thing I've ever seen in my life. Incredible. He did this thing where he spun on a dime and his hand hit the mic stand. And the mic stand teetered and dropped. And he caught it right then. And he came up singing and his hair is blowing in the wind. And I was like, he's not real. He's more than human. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Of course, he slayed it that night. And, but I'm telling you, that just like This Is It was just a rehearsal. Now, you never even got to see the performance and how that sold, because his game was that tight, even in rehearsal. That's what that sound check was like. It was like the most incredible thing you've ever seen for 5 minutes. And they went over this like one move that he had to do with the lights hit, and he was a technician, and he knew exactly when it was supposed to fire, and he didn't let it go. He practiced, and then that night it was perfect. I was like, yeah, that's how you get to be that guy. All right, the last one. This happened November 9th, 1989. Now, you historians may know what happened that night. Let's go back 2 more days. November 7th, 1989. We were in Berlin doing a show. And I remember being right there at this hotel, going for my little morning jog, jogging right up to the Berlin Wall. On top of their soldiers, machine guns, standing there. And I was like, okay. Jogging back to the hotel. 2 nights later, we were in Spain. I think it was like Barcelona or something. opening for Miles Davis, Mr. Miles Davis, the Prince of Darkness himself. That's his affectionate name. So we had opened for Miles, and we got off stage probably 10 o'clock. Now, if you've been to Spain and you're a musician, you know that that Spain, they have these siestas, and you could easily go on stage at midnight or 1 o'clock. So we had been off stage for a couple hours. Miles said he wasn't showing up because his dressing room wasn't warm enough. So finally, he comes to the stadium, and it's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. And we're in the audience. You just heard this murmur, tens of thousands of people there. And I was sitting here. People went berserk. Miles is at the corner of the stage on remote. His bass player's on remote. He's on remote. And they're coming in, shuffling like a little disciple cluster, playing their little ba ba ba, da 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 da, and people are like freaking out. He gets on stage, and Miles at the top of his game, man. He's killing. He's playing that great tutu Mandela records that Marcus had produced. Killing it. Suddenly, in the middle of his set, on November 9th, 1989, again from the corner of the stadium or the Coliseum, you heard. What they were saying was, the wall is coming down. The wall is coming down. Right then, when we were in that hall, Miles Davis is on stage, lights, music, tens of thousands of people in the stuff, and right then, the Berlin Wall was falling. And it had just this was not, internet days. This was word of mouth. And the people heard it, and it was like, it felt like the roof was going to blow off that place. The energy, I still get goosebumps on it. And it's like, it seems like Miles heard it too, and he hit this high note, and I know I'm probably being theatrical. It was the most fulfilling, musical, personal, psychological, emotional experience I've ever had in my life. That moment, November 9th, 1989. Being in the audience when Miles Davis was on stage and the Berlin Wall fell, and I was right there to see it all. Man, being a musician, man, there's nothing like it. If you're thinking about it, do it. Music, it'll take you everywhere in the world, anywhere in the world. I've been to 64 countries. I have so many experiences. I'm so blessed. I just had to share that. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay masked up. Get vaccinated. Thanks to the international sign of 2 vaccines. Love you all. Talk to you later. Bye.